Knicks win tonight, man, in better fashion than they. This was the best game they've played, in my opinion, the entire playoffs.
I agree.
They got contributions from everybody. Their Towns was good. Brunson, of course, was magnificent tonight. And in the first half, I was like, man, this does not. I thought it was going to go the same way as the other game. But when they got down early, they were down, I think, 16-4 or something like that early. It was a big lead. It was a 12-point lead for Boston, and Boston was hitting all these threes. And they had a little bit of a run that kind of got them back into the game. And I was like, all right, I think they're settling in now. I don't think this game is going to follow the same script as Saturday. Boston then extended a lead again. The Knicks, of course, do what they do, and they come back. And then they were in a position in the second half. They were the much better team. And the Knicks scored 37 in the third quarter, and they scored 33 in the fourth quarter. So they scored 70 points in the second half to win this game and take a 3-1 series lead. Now, before we go any further, one of the bigger stories now is the health of Jason Tatum. Yeah. Again, he was also having a magnificent basketball game. He scored 42 points. He had 7 3-pointers. He had 8 rebounds. He had 4 assists. He had 4 steals, 2 blocks. I mean, he filled the stat sheet tonight and was playing. I said this in the chat. He's playing like the best player in the gym, and he was.
He looks like an MVP candidate.
He did. He was so good tonight, and it's really sad what happened. Yeah. I said immediately that I thought it looked like an Achilles. Joe, you agreed with me.
I did after I saw the replay. Yeah, I think you hit on it right away. That I would bet a lot of money that it was his Achilles.
Yeah, Ty actually said he wasn't coming, but here he is. So hello.
Yeah, I felt pressured as a Knicks fan not to come on. Blue Coach, what's good, Coach? We didn't see you in a minute.
Yeah, man. So we were just getting into the Tatum injury. Obviously, as Knicks fans, we're excited and we're ready to celebrate this win. But the way it ended with that happening to Tatum, look, I'm not gonna lie. Of course, I want to win the series. I want to advance. And Tatum not playing is a huge, boost in the chances for the Knicks winning the game. I'm not going to not, but I don't want to win like this. I'm one of those people who likes to beat a team when they're fully at their full strength.
And no one's at their full strength now, though, man. Come on.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's one thing if he's banged up, he's playing. He has a banged up wrist, but he's been playing. Like, it's one thing if you're still able to play. If he tore his Achilles and he can't even play,
I would feel bad if it was the beginning of the series, maybe. But
I ain't feeling bad. I don't care, man.
4 games in, I don't wish him bad, but I'm not wishing him good either.
No, he's a great player, and you never want to see that happen to a great player. But I don't feel bad about anything, especially after the injury stuff we went through last year. It's part of the game. Yeah,
it is. Well, we have of all teams should know about injuries and keep playing through it.
Yeah, so look at us. We were a mesh unit last year.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I thought OG was gonna be out again with his annual hamstring injury.
I was a little worried about that.
They wouldn't have felt bad.
Yeah, I was like, oh, here we go again. Like all of a sudden you start thinking crap. But no, I said this to Joe before he came on, Ty, the Knicks went down early again. It was 16-4, I think, at one point. They were down. But then they had a little bit of a run to kind of get back into the game. And for me, that's when I was kind of like, all right, this game's going to be different. I didn't know how it was going to play out, but I kind of knew that they're going to be in this one somehow.
When the first quarter was going on, I told you earlier, I had to score watch a little bit because I was in the middle of doing stuff. But I was telling you that the rhythm of the game, I felt like the Knicks were rushing things for no reason at all.
You did say that, yeah.
I didn't feel like the Boston Celtics had that much control over the game. It was just more so the Knicks were sped up, I guess, trying to overcompensate for starting slow. Maybe that was a little bit of their mindset of let's come out and push things a little bit. But they didn't need to push because they were going to get whatever they got. Right now, the Boston Celtics, and unfortunately for them, their whole team is Jason Tatum. It's like Tatum, and no one else, because Brown has been a no-show this whole series for the
tonight
most.
with White. Tonight with Derek White.
Derek White.
White was unbelievable tonight.
Yeah, White has been just phenomenal. I mean, the Knicks made him look like he was Steph Curry tonight too, which didn't help. But he's been good, from moving from San Antonio to even in Boston. He's always been a terrific player. So not taking anything from him. But this is a superstar moment when you get into the playoffs, and they have been down literally both their stars throughout this whole series for one reason or another, either underperforming. Tatum had the game 3, obviously the breakthrough in game 3, was having a phenomenal breakthrough in the first half or the first quarter. He was lighting up everything. But Brown, where was he? He was, what does Walt always say? What can Brown do for you? And not a damn thing in this series, because
he was 6 for 8 for 3-point range at one point and finished the game for 6 for 11. He missed his last three pointers in the second half.
Derek White
He was on fire in the beginning.
Yeah, he was on fire. I mean, that's what the Celtics do. But once again, we see by the time they got to halftime, I looked at the score. I said, wow, this is a Knicks score. I said, this is all of a Knicks score, because it was very low. There was no high scoring. And then in the third, I saw that the Knicks, came back, storming back. They got into the game, got them by 5, and close, obviously. And then when they closed out the third, I said, oh, this is the Knicks game to win, because that's a Knicks score. There's not high scoring, and they have the capability of making a game ugly and actually pulling it out, and they did.
And as far as the three-pointer goes, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, man.
I mean, they still, they took 48 of them. I mean, that's not 60 like the first game, but still 48's a lot of 3-point shots. But they cooled off in the first half. It wasn't 20 in the first half. They hit. I know
20 is on the first half?
I won't put they had hit about 12, I think, in the first half.
Okay.
And then they wound up 18 for 48. So, I mean, they cooled off outside of Tatum, who did not. But Tatum still, he shot 16 threes. He hit 7 of them.
Threes.
Yeah, I mean, he took 16. White took 11. The other big thing that happened in game 3 that didn't happen tonight, Peyton Pritchard wasn't as prolific. So that was nice. Nice that happened. But got to give a shout out to a lot of guys. It's weird. After Anunoby got hurt and after Brunson got hurt, they played better.
And both of our wings showed up.
Yeah.
I have a question. That is very uncommon. I have a question. They mentioned this on TV, and I thought this going into the game. Is this the biggest Knicks win in 25 years?
Probably.
No. If they win game 5 or game 6 or game 7, that's the biggest Knicks win.
No, up to this point.
Yeah. I think it is. I think it's been the biggest win because of the narrative coming in. When you look at the Knicks, I mean, what have we been always known for? Failure. Hate to say it.
We were up 2-1, and everybody I was hearing was saying the Boston Celtics were going to sweep them out and finish the series.
But how did you not feel that way after what happened on Saturday? Honestly, they didn't look like they belonged on Saturday.
But just like John wrote in the chat, it's just a game. It doesn't matter really if they lose by 3 or if they lose by 20. It's just a loss.
But how could you not feel anything else after that game? That's how you should have felt. That's how I felt. Most people felt that way because it looked like all the other games Boston killed them early in this season. So, and again, before tonight, the Knicks only had a lead for like a short amount of time.
Yeah.
Tonight they took a couple leads at different points and they looked better, but they got performances from all of their their 4 key guys showed up. Towns, Brunson, Anunoby, and Bridges all showed up tonight. And that's what it's going to take for them to win games. They need all 4 of them. It's going to be the same against the Pacers too, because the Pacers are a well-structured team. So,
they're a very deep team.
Yeah. So, and the Knicks aren't. The Knicks are very top heavy, as we know. So they're going to need the same types of performances again from all these guys in the next round. Again, I know I'm jumping the gun, but especially if it is an Achilles for Tatum and the Knicks don't win now being a 3-1, then everyone deserves to go. I don't care. You could trade the whole team for Giannis at that point.
I don't see that. I don't see them not winning one of the next 3.
I don't either.
And besides, game 3 also, Eric, Boston shot out of their minds. Like, that wasn't sustainable.
Yeah.
But that's what they've done all year. That's the whole point. They've done
Right.
that all year
50,
against the Knicks.
Plus 50+% at that volume. That's not something that's sustainable.
No, but like I said, it has been against the Knicks this year.
It was in the opener, definitely.
I don't think they're gonna that Tatum injury.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, if he comes back and even play,
he was in a wheelchair and he was crying. Like they showed him crying.
I just look at the Boston Celtics. They look like the team that just was like, we just tired of hanging out together. That's what it really looks like. You know, when you've had those friends, and that's why you're like, you go home one night and be like, I'm not calling those Mitches anymore. You know, it's ran its course, you know, and don't, lose my number. Let's just start texting from now on. You just had a bad night out that nobody wants to talk about again. When I look at Boston, that's what it looks like. A bunch of guys just said, just get me the hell out of here by the end of the summer, because I just don't really want to be here. Because this is not resemble when you take the 2 games in Boston for being a championship caliber team, a team that ripped through the NBA last year throughout the playoffs. This is like a team that just was like, we got one. We got one. We're good. We don't want to. We're good with the one. And in doing so, you kind of saw this team like just in game 1, they gave up. They fumbled towards the end. And then the second game, you lose the same way twice. That's usually called insanity. Just keep repeating the same things and getting the same results. And needless to say, they didn't show any grit or grind. In fact, Detroit had more poise, it seems, against the Knicks than Boston has. Like, they wanted more, whereas Boston's like, I think they were confident that they could just roll us. I think that's what they came in. And then Knicks start fighting back and said, no, we can punch too, or we're willing to get in your face. I think Boston couldn't handle the pressure of believing that the New York Knicks would just fight back the way that they have been.
So I put this up because I tweeted this out probably midway through the third, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was true. Brunson and Towns were playing very efficient. They played very well, and the Knicks were still trailing by 6 at that point. And I kind of was like, it was kind of at that point, I'm like, all right, this is the time where they're either gonna come back or it's gonna go the other way. Yeah, and I mean, we saw how it ended. We already talked about the performances they got from Wingstop, which, after OG got hurt, for him to come back in and then have that kind of a game was fantastic. Bridges was really the guy in the fourth quarter hitting a lot of the big shots. It was awesome to see. But again, the unsung hero of this game, once again, with the offensive rebounding and just his presence, was Robinson.
Mitch, please.
Yeah, they are a different team when he's on the court. They're a much better team when he's playing. And Ty, you said it all year, like they're waiting on a role player.
Yeah, I was
and he didn't go to the line once today.
No, that was weird that Mazzulla didn't do the hacker Mitch. I was very surprised.
Mazzulla's an idiot.
He's a weird guy, man. I didn't mean it disrespectful at all when I said it. I did ask, like, is he on the spectrum? He just, like, he looks and talks like he's socially awkward. He seems very uncomfortable when he's up there. Very monotone. Doesn't show much. His expression that never changes. Like, I don't know. He seems, again, I don't want to diagnose him with a medical condition, but to me, that's how it looks.
He has belly syndrome. He's just trying to be Belichick. That's all it is. He's up in New England. He wants to be the guy that came in with that kind of cachet, dismissing, all the reporters. I'm the smartest guy in the room. I'm not going to give you any real answers.
That's
just got down 3-1 syndrome.
That's the medicine he's going to need to take. They got a cure for that, because he seems like the kind of coach that he probably caught lightning in a bottle, with a team that was already prepped to go. I think when they went with Udoka that year prior, they were ready to come in and win a title. That team has been together as far as the tandem for quite a long time, and then they finally broke through, and now they've exhaled. Yeah, the movie's over. Whitney's no longer in the movie. They just wait and exhale, and then they They're not doing a damn thing right now, but getting their ass handed to them by the Knicks, which is kind of crazy.
I look at his resume anyway, and it's really spotty. To tell you the truth, he did some small school kind of head coaching. There was an assistant. Then he was on the Maine Red Claws for a while. Then he was an assistant on Boston.
Yeah.
Then he was in the Big Show.
Well, he also had a substance abuse issue in his life.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that problem to overcome as well.
He had some allegations.
Respect that he got past it.
Yeah. So I mean, he's been again, he just seems like an odd guy to me. It could be arrogance, like you said, and then maybe that's where it stems from with the team. But man, after Saturday, to have a win like this after how I felt Saturday, I'm not sure how to process it. I'm kind of sitting here like I'm happy, yes. And of course, now I'm expecting to win, but I'm very much the guy. It's not over till it's over. They got to get that next one.
Eric, you can't wait for the other shoe to drop syndrome.
Yeah,
I do. I have Stockholm syndrome with the Knicks, and why shouldn't I?
You heard me tell you earlier today. I said I think they're winning this game. I did have faith that they were winning this game, only because Boston has not shown that the Knicks can't beat them. You're expecting game 3, and I said that too, Eric. I said, look, Tatum's going to have a great game in game 3. If not, he can't show his face ever again. He has to have a tremendous game. He is a star in this league. He has put out that he wants to be the best player on the face of the league. There's no way, I think we might have lost Eric. Well, needless to say, there's no way you can have that kind of thing put up, that self-crowning of whatever, saying you want to be the best player on the planet, and then you have a no-show game, a no-show series. He had to come out in game 3. And the same applies to game 4. He came out like the star that he claims that he wants to be. So I think that's a big thing. But the Celtics as a whole, it's a terrible team right now. I don't know what happened with them. Like I said, there's some sort of mental fracture with them because Brown is usually over-aggressive, and maybe he is injured. But you didn't find any of the leadership on the floor from a championship team. I don't know who their leader was at one point when they won. Maybe it was Drew Holiday. Maybe it was Brown. I don't know who it was because I don't like the Celtics. No reason for me to watch them. But in the same sense, it's like, who was the leader on that team last year that allowed them to actually win a title? Because right now they've regressed a lot mentally as a team.
The only one of note that won before that last year was Holiday.
Had to be Drew. Who else could it be?
He's got a leadership role in
offense. He does. He does. And he looks like he's not. I'm telling you, all of them look like they're like, just get me the hell out of here. I don't know what is up with that. Drew Holiday's always been a pro's pro. He got 2 rings. He's a legit stud on defense. He's a very good leader, like Joe said. It's not like he's missing anything. It's like, but why is that team looking like a team that just don't want to play basketball together?
He's banged up too. Like they're not. Yep, he's banged up. Brown's banged up. They're all banged up, and again, everyone is. So I'm not. Brunson has like no ankles left, so I'm not going to sit here and feel. I don't feel sorry for anyone. If that's the thing you got out of what I was saying, I don't. I just don't like.
It's sad seeing anybody go down that's a professional athlete with an Achilles. Yeah. That's just being human.
Yeah.
I've seen an Achilles go out firsthand. My wife blew one out in Mexico, and it is painful. And
that's why I knew it wasn't a sprain. That's why I knew it wasn't just a sprain when it happened or a rolled ankle, because the way he was writhing in pain, and I was like, this is much worse.
It hurts like hell.
Worse.
You can put 0 weight on it. You can put 0 weight on that leg.
Yeah, he called a timeout, so that let you all. That's all you need to know. The last time out, he called it, and I think when he went down, so did the Boston Celtics series, because I don't see who Derek White can't. I mean, the Knicks would have to be ultimate failures to allow anybody on the Celtic currently to beat them in the next 3 games. Which it shouldn't even go 3. It should be done in Boston on Wednesday, because if Tatum can't go, I don't see. There's like no. I mean, who would you fear right now? It would be Brown at one point. I would normally say Brown, but when looking at the whole landscape of the Celtics, who has played Who has played? No, Tatum had one and a half good, you would say.
Yeah, down the volume though, the volume of shots and everything, they are gonna go to Brown. Like it's just gonna shift now. So now we're gonna see if Jaylen Brown has a game in them at least for them to, fight again and live another day and force a game 6. Does Porzingis say screw it and give everything he has in the next game and have a game where he shoots, 7 for 9 from 3 and like they're a capable team.
There's still a lot of talent on the team.
Yeah, they're a capable basketball team. And they're still the champions. They still won last year. They have that experience that we don't. So a lot of the things to draw on that you look to draw on when you get like this, they're going to have to draw on. Now, that doesn't make up for obviously the talent that Tatum has and his level. He is their MVP. He's their best player. So it's hard to replace that. But I mean, hey, Jaylen Brown's making how much money? I mean, dude, this is your show now. This is your team now. You're going to have to pick up the slack. Huh?
He's making more than OG.
He should make more than OG. He's better than OG.
Well, he's about to be Samson because when he cut his hair, all those damn superpowers went away. He ain't did nothing. So I'm just saying, the Celtics have some issues. I mean, granted, you're right. They're a champion. Maybe Tatum's an issue for them in the locker. Maybe they get more free with him not being.
He's making $1 billion.
Liked. $1 billion. You got to do that, Craig. You got to do that. But it's like when you look at that aspect, maybe Tatum is a problem. Not being funny, maybe they don't like him, and they might come out as a team and rally behind what they can do. But
yeah.
I think they're done.
Let's see, what did he get again? Well, I mean, I think they're done too. Like, I don't expect them to win now. I don't think anyone realistically expects them to win now, but I wouldn't be surprised if they won game 5. Not at all. They're a proud team, championship level team. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not expecting them to win, but I wouldn't be surprised if they did.
And I know a lot of people felt this way. I felt the winner tonight was going to win the series.
Yeah.
Period.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I felt that way, and I think even if they had Tatum, I think we still would have won the series. I don't see them winning 3 in a row on us in any event, and I obviously think that the chances of that happening are less now because of circumstance and everything like that. 304 for Brown over 5 years. That's $60 million a year.
Yeah, that's what he thinks. So that's what I mean. Like, hey, you're up. That's what I mean. If I was Mazzulla, I'd be like, put my head on his shoulder, and be like, okay, you're up. Your turn, Mr. 304 million. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
I just look at it this way: the Celtics. I mean, up until Tatum fell, had his injury. Shout out to him, blessing. Hopefully, he's well. But when you look at the whole dynamic of the team has been whole, and they've been the champions, and they have lost games in the most ridiculous manner, including up till tonight, right when OG stole the ball. At first, I'm not being funny. I was like, "Damn, is he faking the injury?" Because they snatched their heart out right then. Because the Knicks have just been the grittier team. It is what it is. I don't see. While they were whole with everybody, that's a championship caliber team. They lost 3 out of 4 times. So you are what your record is right now against any team. You're 3 out of 4. I don't think if Tatum was even playing, I think the Knicks probably could still go into Boston because they've done it twice already in Boston and win again. I don't see where the resistance is because I don't think it's a talent issue. I think they're not even playing. They're not. When did you see them fight? Did you see a fight in them? They had a showing in game 3 because they had to as professionals that their pride took in. But the other games, nobody's hitting anybody. Al Horford really looks his age. They're playing him. He really, really looks like he's his age. Well, Derek White is the only Energizer Bunny on the whole damn team.
Pritchard.
And Pritchard.
Pritchard, yeah.
If they beat you, you need to lose. I'm not dismiss.
Well, I mean, the Knicks lost by a lot on Saturday, but Pritchard was a big reason why they lost by a lot. He had a lot of big shots where the game could have gone the other way a couple times. So no, it's even if they had Tatum, I agree. If the Knicks won tonight, they were going to win the series. I don't know how many games it would have gone, but they would have won the series. Probably in 6, because I think Boston with Tatum wins Game 5 at home. Just my take on what happened.
And they might take Game 5 anyway.
Yeah. And Ty, like we talked about this before, they've been playing a lot of basketball. Like the Celtics have been playing a lot of basketball the last few years. So you're right. Maybe they are burnt out. It's very possible.
Olympics also for Tatum.
That's the thing they kept talking about the Chiefs. That the Chiefs were burnt out in football because they were playing so much for the last couple of years.
Yeah, so it's I mean, it does happen. These guys are human beings, right? So you can get your body. You do get tired. You do get fatigued if you're playing a lot. Like you said, you brought up Tatum playing in the Olympics or whatever the hell that was.
Whatever the hell.
He didn't play. He just was there. He was there watching, and I was watching from the couch because Kerr didn't play him at all.
I still do not understand that at all. I still don't.
He just technically was there to cheerlead because they didn't play him at all.
That's still crazy to me.
That's insane. What did Kerr see that he looked? I know Craig probably says he looked like I'll be sure that's why Kerr didn't play him probably. But I'm just saying, what did Kerr see in Tatum that he terrific player? I don't think nobody argues who's one of the best players in the league is Tatum. And he goes, "You're hitting the bench."
And he's made for the international game too. Like his style is made.
Well, what did he see? What did he see that he's?
It had to be just beautiful.
Hey, he's half up him, Craig. Don't be talking junk. You know you get that.
Craig, you need to light up the comment section in like every show that we ever have.
I invited him on. I sent him a link. You see, he's not coming on because he's scared. That's fine. Craig knows he can't say this stuff live because people will just get on him. So he's not coming.
Craig has like red belt kung fu in the comment section. Like every time.
He's the guy that when you're out, that talks shit behind everybody else, like yeah, and then runs away when the fight breaks out. That's Craig. That's Craig right now. That's what he does. That's who he is.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. Yeah, but there's definitely some psychological thing, I guess. Like I said, with certain players, Tatum to me is the ideal for an Olympic game. Like Eric said, I don't know why you would not play a lanky 6'10" dude with a mid-range game. Post-up game. He has all the tools. I mean, he's proven sometimes, even with his rebounding, that he can get at it and play a physical game like tonight. He was a monster. And then
even the double dribble that he got away with, because that was, I don't know how they missed that one.
I don't know how we got 22 fouls in the first half is what I would love to know.
Well, yeah. See, that's the other thing I want to get on. How the hell in a professional basketball game, in a playoff series that has been physical for the most part, how did they only have 2 whole fouls the entire half?
First half, yeah. In
Madison Square Garden against the Knicks. Like, whatever happened to the home whistle and stars getting calls? Like, whatever happened to all that? Because we don't see that anymore.
Refs have been swallowing the whistles in ways that I haven't seen in years.
Apparently, somebody's been swallowing the Dallas Mavericks too, because that makes
man.
No, when I tell you this ain't no tinfoil hat moment, there's no way someone can tell me they watched that draft after what's transpired in Dallas over this season, and they said, "Oh, I got the Dallas Mavericks with 1.8% chance." One of the lowest ever percentages ever in NBA draft lottery history. It's the 4th lowest, I think it is. Needless to say, somebody's coming on. I heard blip. It's about to be lit up in here.
Nico Harrison is drunk in a bar in Dallas right now, cursing out the fan base.
Nico submitting those nude pictures of what is
Craig,
name?
Craig is in the dark too. Craig is like in incognito and
Midnight Craig.
There we go. There we go.
There you go. With the Nova symbol.
Not no Villanova. We don't care.
This is the closest head I got.
They don't play for Villanova anymore. They graduated.
I'm not going nowhere downstairs to get a Knicks hat, so I got this one. This is the closest thing I got to the bedroom.
Hey, the Pope loves you. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah, y'all even got the Pope. You can even claim the Pope now.
Wow. I can.
Villanova, that's crazy.
What was your reaction, Craig, to the game? This is kind of nuts, right?
Dude, I've been. That's why I've been trying to stay off the phone. I've just been watching, biting my nails, trying not to wake the fan because everybody's asleep, trying not to wake everybody up. Yeah. I'm happy. I mean,
yeah,
I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, seriously, how exciting is this? I mean, for real. I mean, all analysis to the side, this is fantastic.
Yeah, it's good time.
Yeah, it is. It's because we didn't expect it to. Like, no one expected the Knicks to win this series. So the fact that they're one game away right now it's pretty amazing stuff.
Yeah, it is
amazing stuff.
I wish Tatum didn't get hurt, but it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Like the guys were saying, like we had all these injuries last year, right? No one said anything about no one cried for us. No, especially no one's gonna cry for New York. No. So that's never gonna happen. So yeah, so it's sorry, Dante just had a really cool move. Missed it though. Yeah, so here we are. Like Joe just said, it's wild to think we're sitting in this position. But finish the job in this round, and then finish the job in the next round. Like, let's go.
The leg, Mr. Lawrence.
Yes, finish it. Finish it off.
I think I like our chances against the Pacers. There's something I know. I know they're talented, and they beat us last year.
We took them to 7 games with a skeleton crew, though.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Talk about injuries. If that team was whole last year, it's a whole different story, I think, as far as the results. Because the Knicks had the Pacers several times. It's just they couldn't stay healthy. So, but hey, tip your hat to them. They won. It is what it is. They beat the team in front of them. But I like our chances, way more than I like it against Boston. I mean, if Boston win Boston, these are like little litmus tests for the Knicks. Detroit prepared them for Boston. Boston is going to prep the Knicks for going to the finals. That's really what this is about. They're prepping the Knicks for the finals. I know it sounds like a gun, but that's what it's about.
It's one thing I want the narrative to be clear of. I don't want an asterisk put on this win if we win this series because Tatum got injured.
I'm not putting one.
There's no asterisks on anything.
You can't do the asterisk because the Knicks won the first 2 games.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's why. Even if they win, yeah.
They're going to put an asterisk on it anyway. If this team was whole, look at what they did in Boston for the first 2 games. Yeah. The Knicks won. They clearly were the most clutch team. And how they won, and what did every pundit come on the next day? They never said the Knicks. Well, some mentioned the Knicks as giving them the little golf clap, but most of them said, "What's wrong with Boston?"
The number one culprit is Windhorse. I don't know what his deal is. Like he's the number one culprit in all of that.
Yeah, you're right.
Dude, he's hungry. He's
I mean.
Hunger Pains? Is that what I'm saying? Hunger Games? Hunger Pains?
Because, I mean, the narrative is there because of how things played out during the regular season. That's why.
Which is fair, though, right? I mean,
yeah, it's fair.
Yeah,
sure.
Fair. Yeah.
Sure, it's fair. Like, none of us sitting here thought they were winning this series. And don't even tell me you did. No. None of us thought they were.
I did predict that they're going to win the finals this year, but let's keep going on now.
No. That I'm not talking about stuff you said months ago. I'm talking about stuff you said before the series. None of us thought they were winning this series.
Anybody who says they did is about to get struck by lightning.
I just think when you get into the playoffs, and this is the one thing I do say all the time, it's just 2 different seasons. I know people don't want to buy that, but you get to lock in a little bit different. The things that you were doing You don't know the scenarios going into the games, whether you're coming off a back-to-back, whether you haven't gelled yet. A lot of brokenness. The Detroit Pistons prepped the Knicks for winning this series right here. And the Knicks weren't not tested enough by the right team because the narratives come in, made the Knicks underdogs as number 3 seeded in the Eastern Conference. They had to feel and take it as Michael Jordan would have done personal because they're telling you that you won the most games pretty much except for 2 teams and you're no good. They had to come out and prove something. If not, then we're talking a whole different story. This team needs to be blown up.
The one thing this team does have and has had and does do is they play to the end, no matter what. They never give up. They play every minute of every game. They believe that as long as there's time left on the clock, they have a chance to win. And that's something that you like. It's not something you can teach. That's something that you have inside as a player that you're going to keep going and keep pushing. And that's what they do. As long as there's time on the clock, the Knicks think they have a shot to win a game. So that's why you can win 2 games in Boston the way they won, right? Because
I think that gives you the idea as a fan that if they are at least close in the last 5 minutes, the advantage goes to them.
And they have Brunson.
I've never felt that way about this team.
Brunson made me feel like that. Ever since we got Jalen Brunson, I've never watched the Knicks game thinking we're going to lose. And I don't recall never feeling that way. But when that dude arrived in New York and watching how he played in the clutch, I never watched a Knicks game. I mean, I have the butterflies like everyone else do, wanting them to win, not knowing how the turn of events is going to happen. But as far as being in the game, I never feel like we're out of the game when that dude's in the game. For some reason, he just has that. I'm not calling him Jordan, but he's in that echelon of player where you know that there's a chance you can walk out with a win no matter where you are because he's just that kind of special talent and he has that belief in himself. So there's not many of them left in the game as far as I'm concerned. There's Brunson. I don't know. Who's the next guy? Maybe Jokic is a killer like that. Gives you an opportunity to win at the end. I mean, how many? I don't think there's many of them. I'm not because Brunson's on our team. I'm just asking you guys, how many guys are like Brunson? He won clutch player for the reason.
Luka is that guy. Luka's a very clutch player. So he'd be the other one. And that's what I was saying before. It's not surprising that they were on the same team. I'm sure they've rubbed off on each other a little bit when they were playing together.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are guys in the NBA. But yeah, like you said, he won clutch player of the year for a reason. He was the best clutch player we had in the NBA. So, you never feel like you're out of it. And I've said this before. I think it's because he's a self-made player.
Yeah.
He's not an elite athlete. He doesn't have an elite physical trait. When you look at him, he's not tall. He doesn't have a sick handle. He has a good handle, but it's not a crazy skilled handle. His footwork.
Is it fair to say there's a combination of 2 things though? Them, to your point, Eric, taking on the personality of Tibbs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Probably the same type of player, right? Or when he played in college, he had to fight his way. He played on small college team, Division III, probably. Then to be an assistant, work his way up, and then you look at also the era or the team in which Brunson grew up around. He grew up around that Knicks team, right? And he grew up with those old school, players having good footwork like Allen Houston, Sprewell, all that. Again, I don't know how much. Yeah, Patrick. I don't know how much of them he really watched, but if you listen to Patrick, he said he was just a pest. He was always around.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the way he plays the game at his size, it's possible that he learned all those things from those 3 players.
Mm-hmm. No, it's definitely obviously his dad being teammates to all these guys. Obviously he got a education that a lot of players don't get. A lot of kids don't get, right? Like you're around these fantastic scorers, and he's a scorer. I mean, he just happens to be 6'1", but if he was 6'6", maybe we had to or 6'5", maybe he is the next Bernard King, right? Like maybe he is that type of a player. All I will say is the way he plays, and he's not a vocal guy, he's not a vocal captain, And I got on him today because I do think that sometimes he needs to speak a little more. I think he's too passive when it comes to leading, but he leads by example. And the team does play that way. They follow his lead. That's how they play. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy he's here. Like we said, it's crazy to think that we got one of these guys now after all these years, but we do. We have one. And I hope he's here for the rest of his career. I really do. I hope he retires a Knick, never plays anywhere else. And I hope he leads us to a championship. Maybe this year. I don't know. Cross my fingers and toes, but maybe this year.
If they can get Denver in the finals, it's possible.
Well, I'm not looking that far ahead.
I'm just saying. I mean, I can't see them beating it.
It's so funny, Craig. I was thinking the same thing. I said Denver might be who they face in the finals. I don't know who's leading these series. That really only played.
That's 2-2.
Yeah.
Could you imagine mini New York?
That would be amazing too.
That would be wild. That would be a wild series.
You can't write a better script than that.
I know, really.
It's possible, but I mean, they both are those games all tied or the series?
They're playing right now. So not yet. Minnesota's up 2-1 though. So.
Oh yeah,
and Golden State doesn't have Curry. So.
Curry, yeah. And what is the other series? That's
Denver and OKC are tied at 2 each. Going back to OKC.
Yeah, and I see OKC winning that eventually. I do.
If you were ever going to play OKC, it would be this year while they're still experienced. The team's just going to get better and better.
We played Denver very good.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah,
that's the matchup you would want.
We laid a beating on them this year, one of those games too. I mean, laid a serious beating on them. Well, it was after a period where we played particularly poorly. It was like a good comeback game for us. Well,
Towns had played Jokic very good last season in the postseason, so it's not like a foreign thought. Although Jokic is phenomenal, I still think he's the best player in the league. But that's a good matchup for Towns because maybe the slowness of Jokic allows Towns to play actually good defense. So it would be a great matchup. I could see the Knicks beating them. There's not one team that I think about in the Western Conference that I go, wow, the Knicks might get rolled.
I mean, I still think it's OKC, man. I just
Oklahoma City, I think, yes.
They're too long, they're too young, they're too deep, and Tibbs refuses to play 5 people off his bench. I mean, he has an opportunity here to play Shamet, to play right, like to really go at least 5 deep, and he just won't do it. And that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, that's the team in the West that scares me the most. And
we beat Denver twice this year with a point differential of plus 37 points.
Jesus.
So that's a good matchup. Obviously, Golden State minus Curry would be a good matchup if he can't play. Minnesota would be interesting. The teams are very similar. They have a better bench though, but every team has a better bench. So that's the other team that would, I think, be interesting.
I think Minnesota. I think it's just OKC you have to worry about if you're going to worry about a team out of the West. And even them, the Knicks have had all these worries we've heard all season long about teams they have not been able to beat. They've come out and beat 2 of those teams handily in 2 series now. I'm just saying. If you get a night like tonight if you get 3 Knicks, not even say 4, if you get 3 Knicks doing what they did tonight, the Knicks are a pretty hard damn team to beat.
Yeah.
Just 3 of them, not 4.
But that happens like every week.
I love that both of our wings showed up today, man.
When those wings show up, man.
Both of them. It's usually one's on offensively, the other one's off offensively. It's really rare that they both show up.
But that's the frustrating thing about Tibbs, though, right? Like to Eric's point earlier, if you just put Hart on the bench and started Robinson and you brought in Shamet and Payne and Wright and McBride and Hart, like the Knicks have a bench, right? They have serviceable players, and Tibbs just will not.
Guys who have played before too in the playoffs, yeah.
And I'm starting to get a little frustrated. Like, dude, like Bridges played 51 minutes in that in game 2. 51 minutes.
Yeah, he played another how many tonight? Like he played a ton of minutes tonight too.
Like Roy can
24 minutes.
literally
He had
come off
4.
and give you stuff. It's frustrating. It's frustrating.
The Shamit thing is always weird to me with Shamit and Payne. It's just the weirdest thing. Like when you see Cam Payne come in, you just want to go throw him in front of all the Greyhound buses when he plays like he did tonight, because it's like, dude, how are you watching that as the coach and not say, well, maybe we need to pull this Negro a little bit and put him on the bench and put in the guy with the curly hair? Why would you not just put Shamit in for those 4 minutes that Cam Payne gave you? I guarantee you, Shamit comes in there, he's a bucket and 3 shots. He's going to score. And then
that's what we talked about this before the playoffs. Like he was playing well towards the end of the season. So
yes.
I think we all thought he'd be part of the rotation in some way, shape, or form.
Tibbs rolls out Cameron Payne, who's been granted when Cameron Payne has it rolling, it's a thing, like it's an energy thing. But how many times does that happen? You know, most of the time he threw up some wild shots tonight, and I'm like, man, if I could play
Game 1 against Detroit, right? That was it. That was it.
Yeah, see, nah. Shamit is a better basketball player, and I don't understand why he's not getting at least a little look in some of these games when you need some relief for Brunson at the point, or even just some of the shooting from the 2 guard when you need a bigger guard other than Deuce McBride. You know, I don't know why he's glued to the bench. It makes no sense.
We've beaten this to death. Not only does he have the 3-point capacity, but he's also a solid defender with a lot of playoff experience. Like
it's maddening. It's the most maddening.
Deuce has been very good.
Yeah, he's come back. He's come around.
Yeah.
Which I'm not shocked. He's one of those players that if we watch his career, he can have a bad stretch, and then it's a stretch where he's like, he goes in the lab and he puts in the work and comes out. And like tonight, he hit some big shots. You know, it's just deadly shots. And they're going to need him. They're going to need him. They're going to need Shamit too.
Mm-hmm.
They need somebody else. It can't just be, you know, Deuce and let Cam screw up the rest of the whole the bench work. Precious even got some work tonight, which was a good thing.
I'm trying to, there's doctors on Twitter already saying that it looks like an Achilles tear.
Oh, I don't want to hear that, man. That sucks. I mean, like you said, no one cared about our injuries last year, but it does suck, right?
It sucks seeing anybody go down with an injury.
You don't want.
No.
You know.
I prefer the Knicks to beat his ass. Not for him.
That's what I want.
To be honest, I'm like one of those people. I want to see you get beat healthy.
I want them to beat him like that dude in Django.
Whip
him. Whip him.
I do want to point out that they were winning the game when he went down.
Yeah, well, that's the thing I said.
Yeah, true.
They were winning. They were up by 11 points. I think it was 7 points, 11 points, whatever it was. They were fine. So it's not because of that injury that they lost. They were getting their ass handed to them,
and they would have been up 3-1. So, yeah, I feel bad for him, but I don't feel bad.
No.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, prayers to him and his family.
Yeah, seriously.
But I wear this. I wear that logo. This is it. I don't care how we get to the finals. I don't care who we slap to get there. I just want. Hey, look, whatever violence is committed off camera, I don't care if it's a Harding situation. I don't care. As long as we get that ring, it is what it is.
But I thought of this when I was watching the game, and then when Tatum got hurt, I'm like, wow. So both Eastern Conference semifinals the Knicks have followed the same script that's going on in the other one.
Indiana and
Lakers won the first 2 on the road. The Knicks 2 won the first 2 on the road. They both got blown out in game 3 at home. Knicks both win game 4. And the star player on the other team, Mitchell and Tatum, both get hurt in the game. It's crazy. It's crazy when you look at it from that angle and say, wow. But yeah, that's what's been happening.
The NBA looks scripted. That's why people think they're cheating, because it looks scripted sometimes.
Well, I think speaking of scripted, because we were talking about the the draft lottery. I broke it down a little bit on my tweet, but this guy really broke it down. So I'm going to show you guys what he said. So he said, Cavs won the lottery immediately after LeBron left. That's true. Pelicans won the lottery immediately after CP3 trade. That's true. We talked about the AD trade, and now the Mavs right after the Luka trade. So yeah.
And let's not forget Derrick Rose landing in Chicago. Look, it's been going on for the longest time. That oops, I did it again, Brittany. That's exactly what it is because they
It's
keep
wild.
They do it in front of our face. That's why earlier today it bowls to what I was posting about the whole Draymond Green lip reading when they say about the spread, and it sounded weird. And I'm like, they do make you wonder sometimes, like how vested are they in to being competitive sometimes? Because the NBA is now looking extremely scripted. I know they said about Patrick, and it was a frozen envelope and all that, etc. When the Knicks won the lottery. But there's some agenda, man. You got to think along those lines. When did Wemby win? Wait, hold on. What happened with San Antonio? Didn't they have the worst record?
They got Tim Duncan. Well, David Robinson went down, right?
Yeah, they got Tim Duncan at that time. And what was the narrative behind Wemby? Did they lose the most games? Well, they tanked literally to get Wemby. Of course, a big guy goes back to San Antonio. You know, that's literally what you look at. It's like the same narrative. And now they're going to have another guy there because they got a second pick, and then they got the 4th pick or 5th pick. Some ridiculous amount of assets that now San Antonio has.
No. That was totally scripted, Wemby there. I could have told you halfway through the regular season that they were going to get him. They were going to win the lottery.
Washington got screwed, man.
They did. My boss is going to be upset.
Washington got screwed, man, because they got the 6th pick. All that tanking for the 6th pick.
And Phillies kept their own pick because they got it in the top 3, right?
Top 4, yeah. Top 4, they kept it. Yeah, which is kind of whatever. Philly, no offense to Craig. He knows I love Philly.
You know, I don't care about no shit.
Philly's a city, big up to Philly, but that's some trash heat that they even got a draft pick out of that, a lottery pick for having 2 guys who basically just stunk the whole damn year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what yeah. Well, Cooper Flagg's mouth, they might as well just gave him the Dallas uniform before he even went on camera because now you hear the narrative. Perkins like, oh, he's playing with Kyrie. It's like they all know. It's like they knew what was going on because the whole narrative conversation made Cooper Flagg a little uncomfortable having to answer questions like he was already drafted.
Well, I mean, people were talking about the Doncic trade too, but they also lost Brunson, right? In retrospect, that was just as bad. You know, they lost him for nothing. They lost Brunson for nothing. Like, didn't get him.
And they could have signed him the year before to
for like $30 million.
A contract that would have looked ridiculous by now.
And he said
that obviously he would have been up on contract again, but
he said he wanted to stay too. When you hear all the narratives around it, he wanted the secure money. He wasn't looking for, which he's proven because he took the biggest discount probably in NBA history to stay here in New York. So we know money wasn't the thing. He just wanted the comfort of wherever he stays and the security. So, you know, for Dallas to literally, now Raymond Felton said it. He says he picked Brunson over Luka, which I guess there's a debate when you think about it. Brunson is one. He hasn't gone to the finals yet, but talent. Dallas was like OKC losing Harden, Westbrook, and Durant, having 3 caliber MVP players on your team. Dallas did the same thing with Luka and Brunson.
I think it's because of how
Luka's stock is what you said?
Is at an all-time low.
Yeah, he's well.
But I think the people have the narrative about like Brunson and Luka when you watch them play because Luka kind of makes it look effortless. Like he's just and Brunson, you could tell he's working for every single shot he gets and every single point he gets. It's just it looks different. So
Luka's
mad gifted.
Yeah, Luka's. I like Luka. Don't get me wrong. Luka needs.
Oh no, please.
His defense though. They're lighting him up over that defense. They claim that everybody just goes at him and he has no resistance. And I don't know if weight loss can even help that because he just doesn't have the lateral quickness to stay in front. And it might be instinctive also. He may not have the instincts to play great defense.
Well, losing weight should help your lateral quickness.
Yeah.
Wait, when you
And
going for the
knocked
beer?
off all the beer
Do you
and
want
the
single
pierogies.
beer or the hamburger? Which one? Laterally through McDonald's? I mean,
He's European. I mean, that's what they do over there. Vlade smoked forever in his career. Like they're different. They're a different breed.
yeah, Luka's never gonna change that. I don't see that. I don't
Even
see
when
that.
he has, like, remember we saw a couple of summers ago, he looked thin and was in shape. He comes into camp in shape sometimes, and then he just gets fat as the season goes on. Like he doesn't keep up with it. So I don't know.
It's kind of strange. I mean, Jokic is not like getting on Men's Health magazine either, but he's winning MVP. So
No, but naturally he's worse than he is. Like he has to work hard to be in the shape that he's in now.
Yeah.
Like he's naturally inclined to be like Grimace from the McDonald's. That's his body type. Like he has to work hard to be what he is now.
He's fantastic. It's amazing how good that man is at basketball.
Oh yeah, he's a hell of a to me, he's still the best basketball player right now until it's proven otherwise.
I agree.
But
he is the best. Yes.
And he dresses like an adult.
I don't care about that.
I know. I'm just throwing in my typical.
If you're a great player and you're winning MVPs and titles, you can wear whatever the hell you want. I don't care what you wear.
I wonder if he stays in Denver if they don't win, or if they don't get to the finals. I always wonder about that dynamic. He has a year and then an unrestricted year, a player option, I should say. I always wonder. I wonder how that's going to end for him.
He doesn't want anywhere else.
He seems like a lifer, though.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I thought Giannis was too until Giannis is telling people I'm getting help.
I never thought Giannis was a lifer.
No, he's always said that he wants he thinks Europeans should play in bigger cities and things like that. That's been his, that's been his call. So like when Luka went to LA, he was like, "Yay!" he thinks European players should play in the large cities, and
he always wanted Chicago at one point. He did want Chicago. He talked about that knowingly. He wanted to play in Chicago. So that I don't know how he gets there. They don't really got much either that you could offer.
Chicago sounds like a good idea until you live there in winter.
Yeah.
I literally think he does want to come here. I think if it was a place, he does fit New York with the microphone.
He's going to end up in Brooklyn, you watch.
Yeah, that's why I keep wondering if he's going to end up in Brooklyn. Wouldn't that be kind of...
They got nothing there, though, to build around. This guy that wants to win titles. Just having Giannis in Brooklyn isn't going to do
it. But
anything.
they have 8 million picks now because of us.
So he's going to spend his career waiting for those picks to be drafted and developed.
No, that's what'll get him there.
That's what'll get him there. But what? I don't see that happening, man.
No, I think he's going to.
You don't want it to happen, but it's a very real possibility. I'm telling you, because
there's nothing there for him to build a championship team around.
I think Miami.
Okay, none of us thought Mitchell would end up in Cleveland, right? But where did he go? What happened?
But he went there with Darius Garland, with Mobley.
No. He didn't have a choice where he was going.
But he had all those things there.
I think the only issue is the only caveat is that Milwaukee may feel like they owe him. So he may have this is not Denver. I mean, this is not Utah and Mitchell where Danny Ainge was being spiteful and wanted to get what he wanted to got what he wanted. I feel like this may. I mean, again, I'm not saying that he'll get traded to the Knicks, but him winning them a championship in like the last 50 years, he may have a little bit of say where he said, hook me up.
Portland would for Dame, but when it came down to it,
no, that doesn't get you anywhere either.
Dame any favors. Dame wanted to go to Miami.
I think Dame also. I think it was a little bit more complicated with Dame. I mean, Dame was loyal, but I think Dame was also saying, "I want to go here." And Portland was like, "Well, we've done you a lot of favor." When they gave Dame that huge contract, Dame shouldn't have went in and requested anything. I mean, I'm just keeping it a buck. He knew they were going to do what's best for Portland. They gave him a gigantic contract. I think it was the biggest in NBA history at the time. So it wasn't like he had a supermax. So when they supermaxed him, knowing that he had no future there, he was going to be at the mercy wherever they sent him. I wouldn't have sent him to Miami.
Yeah, I agree. This is Milwaukee's chance to recoup everything by trading him. So they are going to do what's best for them.
They have no assets because they traded everything to keep him in town.
Exactly. So that's why I said a team like Brooklyn, who has tons of draft picks, can get him there.
It looks good from the Milwaukee side. I'm just saying it doesn't look good on the Giannis side going to Brooklyn.
I think don't think they're going to care.
OKC is the team to always watch out. Now, whether he wants a smaller market, OKC and Houston, they have the better assets for anyone because they have, at least with Houston, they have the Phoenix Suns picks, and they are going to be great. No matter which way you look at it, they're going to be great because Phoenix is over with. Phoenix is going to be over with for a very long time. Because once they get rid of KD, there's going to be Booker and them. You might as well call his cousin up here that's on the pod and tell me to come ball with him because there's going to be nobody to play with him in Phoenix. Because
Phoenix is going to be the basketball equivalent of The Last of Us. It's
exactly. They're cooked. The only thing is that they trade Booker, and they're looking like they don't want. They're going to do to Booker what Washington did with Beal: hold on for dear life, hoping that something comes out of it. The best thing they could do is probably trade Booker. They should look at Miami to trade Booker.
He's another one. Yeah, he's another guy who might be on the move.
I think he has to be.
The summer's going to be interesting. Him, Booker, Durant as well. We know Durant's gone from there too. They should look to move those two guys. Again, they need to use the assets to recoup, just like Milwaukee's going to need.
I think they should just shrink the league. I know people, they think it's nuts, but these things aren't even competitive anymore when you look at it. Like, is there a team other than, we look at the Knicks, we look at Boston, Cleveland obviously came around. We look at like the Oklahoma City Thunder. There's a few teams, Houston Rockets, teams with great futures with chances of competing for a title. That's like 6 teams I named. I throw the Denver Nuggets in because they got the best player. After that, I don't think there's one team too much that's really capable of winning a title. Out of the whole NBA, there's like 6, maybe 8 really great teams, and then the other 22 teams absolutely have no chance. They're either playing for the lottery or for the television rights to just put money in their pockets because they're not competing on a level that they can win a title.
Minnesota could win the title.
Well, many out there, many and many's. It's very few. Like I said, maybe 8 teams. I don't. Maybe 10. I don't think I'll get to 10. I think it's like 8 teams with great futures right now.
There are teams that are talented that don't play to that talent, like Charlotte. Charlotte's a talented basketball team. They don't play to their talent. You can put Philly in there too, for at least this year. Getting all those guys, and then they don't play to their talent. So you have teams, New Orleans, another one, talented basketball team, don't play to their talent level. So those are the teams also that are in markets that are kind of like, So I agree with you, Ty. If there ever was a chance, like move a team to Seattle, they deserve one. They were a good basketball city. They deserve a team back. And then just contract the rest of them that aren't worthy.
They're just not good. It's just bad basketball. Imagine you can just spread some of the wealth. I mean, we see Detroit. They obviously got some promise. So I'll add them into that Knicks also as a young and upcoming team that has talent. Will they compete for a title? Maybe not no time soon, but you could just still see a plan in place where they can be competitive over the next 4 or 5 years. Whereas those other guys, there's some bad NBA teams. I mean, Miami's terrible right now. Who would have thought they was
Miami's
terrible? They're terrible right now.
Miami's got problems.
Big time. You get rid of Jimmy Butler. I was never that big of a Jimmy Butler fan to begin with, but apparently he was much needed in Miami because they basically got rolled in the playoffs.
And when Tyler Hero is your best player, you got problems.
Yeah, big time problems. Big time problems. So they need to really reboot that franchise. Every franchise, Orlando's another team. I'll give them, that's another up and coming team with a lot of talent.
I like them.
Like I said, we might get to 10, but the rest of them, they're just playing around to get TV right money. putting a computer.
Man, I would love it.
Portland's of the world.
Yeah, Portland. Everybody's gonna be stuck in mediocrity or below, so it's not gonna be good.
I would love Tyler Hero on the Knicks, if I'm being honest.
Oh yeah,
Pat would never trade anybody to the Knicks.
Yeah.
No, but he's kind of what they need, right? Off the bench, bring him off the bench, and
oh yeah, he's a six
Yeah.
man. He's a six man of the year.
His contract isn't that bad. His contract kind of mirrored RJ's.
Yeah.
Similar contract.
All right,
Yeah,
well,
his shooting would be needed. Yeah.
this game is good, actually. This Minnesota Golden State game is good. Minnesota's up by 2 with 2:40 left in the half.
Only 2?
Yeah, 52-50.
That ain't good.
Go watch that at some point.
That ain't good at all. They're in many?
No, they're in Golden State.
Without Curry, I'm sorry. That team is not just good. And many should be rolling them. I mean, Minnie's got the best player on the floor.
Kerr found
Kuminga?
Yeah, Kerr rediscovered Kuminga.
He dusted him off.
This guy can actually play a little bit.
Yeah, that right.
And Buddy Hield has been playing the Steph Curry role. He's been hitting all the shots. So, and now they have Butler. So, yeah.
I don't know what happened with Kuminga. He banged somebody's daughter in the organization or something because it doesn't make any sense.
They claim he didn't go to the Wizard with the Scarecrow. That's really what it comes down to. They claim he ain't got no brain. He just showed up with the witches and he ain't got no brain. That's what they claim. But I'm like, you need to play him even if he ain't got a brain. His athleticism.
Yeah.
You get Steph Curry on the team. He can be one of the best point guards when need be. He's a fantastic passer when need be. It's like you can't incorporate this guy and like to do nothing in the game.
Man, Draymond Green is just he really needs to get suspended or
there's something wrong with him, man. There's something
seriously.
Wrong with him. He has some issues, man.
He just now, like he was
yeah. I don't know.
He just now it was a free throw. He missed and he was falling down. So instead of just falling down, he grabs Randall's jersey. I'm like, dude, just fall. You're gonna be fine. Yeah, you have a big fat ass. It's gonna cushion the blow. Like you'll be okay.
Speaking of Randall, I'm happy to see him doing well.
He's playing very well.
Yeah, especially considering that his difficulties with injuries in the playoffs. I'm happy for him.
He's not New York.
See him do well.
He's not New York.
He's healthy, and he's healthy. He's healthy.
This
is the player that I wish we would have got last year. If he was healthy last year and we had him last year, I think it might have been a better end for us.
I just think him playing because I respect the Randall. Eric knows when we got him, I wasn't mad. How he played in New Orleans was like, oh man, we got a good player. He wasn't anything bad. Fizdale probably ruined him. Having to play the way he played, put in his psyche that he was, LeBron James, and it was, what you start off with is what you end with, basically. And it was hard for him to adapt to his game, but to include people. But I just think New York was too much for him. After a while, I think the pressure, him being a wired dude like that, Minnie's probably the better place for him to go and just play basketball and not think about anything.
The last 2 years, it's hard to say because he was hurt in the playoffs. So he didn't get a chance to clear, to get rid of that taste that we all have in his mouth of him the first time in the playoffs. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's nice to see him playing well this year in the playoffs and Minnesota doing well with him there. Oh, no. Sorry. Kuminga just got around on a guy, and I thought he was going to just destroy him. It was Naz Reid, but he fouled him.
Yeah, no, he's a hell of an athlete, Kuminga. I know. Who wouldn't want to add Kuminga? But, I guess it's about winning basketball, too. Those might choke him, too.
Here we go. Oh, boy.
Draymond.
That was gonna be a highlight.
I wish there's a rumor around that the referees are intimidated to throw him out of games.
Who?
That's the narrative. Draymond. They don't want to be the ref.
Well, because Because he starts saying racism, and he starts anything he could say. He just pulls out the hat.
He's a disgusting human being.
No, he is. He is.
Human being.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and he doesn't.
Right.
Why he's playing in the league still, I have no clue. Can't compare Rodman to him. Rodman is just into antics. This dude was out there trying to hurt somebody, literally.
Seriously. Yep. I mean, I have my issues with the refs this year too, but I mean, today, like we talked about before, the Knicks Boston having 2 fouls an entire half. Yeah. Like, come on now. Lots of Knicks were on the floor, a lot in the first half, and nothing was called. So I was like, all right. But
that's why we got to love this win, because you know what? We got robbed.
They did.
The half. We've seen a lot of non-calls not go our way. So, like I said, shout out to Tatum. Nobody wishes harm. But we've been one of the most screwed franchises that I know of when it comes to these little moments where it seems like us against the world. And, refs had it all in the bag for Boston to win tonight because the Knicks couldn't get no calls. So shout out to the Knicks pulling this out and not letting that bother them. They faced a lot of – when you got to play a 7-on-5, it's pretty bad, or 8-on-5.
Yeah, it was definitely lopsided. I mean, I don't mind them. If you're not going to call it, a tight game, that's fine. But both ways. Both ways. Just make it consistent. That's all I ask. It was the one sequence where Towns got called for an offensive foul when White near the basket, and then the other side he barely hits him, and he gets with White shooting free throws. I was like, come on, right there. Like, you can't call it on one end and be like, it's not a lot of contact, and then the other side still not a lot of contact, and it was just bad. It was bad.
Definitely bad.
I feel like they don't know how to ref games anymore for the center position or the power positions. I feel like those guys have to just be 20 times better and more careful.
Depending on what Vegas says, that's the reason how they ref it. Sometimes it just looks like they got money on the damn game. I'm going to keep it a buck because 2 fouls in the first half for the Knicks.
I know.
All that contact that was happening, 2 fouls.
I know. It was. Again, just be consistent. That's
that
all.
2-minute report's going to turn into 2 days because they missed other calls on that 2-minute report. They can do the whole first half, and that'd be for the whole league. The first 20-something minutes, the Knicks didn't get but 2 foul calls? 24 minutes and a half? That's insane.
For the game.
I mean,
hold on. Let me go. I'm in the wrong game for a minute. For the game.
There's only 10. I'm going to be mad as hell.
For the game, there were a total of 36 fouls called. 20 of them were on the Knicks, 16 were on Boston. But I'd love to in the first half. So that means in the first half, the Knicks had, or Boston only. I mean, Boston had 14 fouls in the second half. That's what that means because we know the Knicks only got called for 2, they only got called for 2 in the first half.
I was mad as hell at Doris Burke. She says, "Oh, Jason Tatum's upset about those foul. That foul he was." I'm like, he's upset. The Knicks have no fouls called against them, and you're talking about Tatum.
You know my nickname for her. I'm not going to say it on.
I know what you said. It's inappropriate. It's inappropriate, but it was appropriate now.
I personally think she's drunk sometimes calling a game.
You're seriously going to say that? Then they wonder why Knicks fans, no offense, I'm saying like how Craig gets triggered reading stuff. Like, what the heck are you saying to us? Because it gets to you after a while. It's like, why are we looking like that we are watching 2 different games here? Everybody who's a Knicks fan isn't just triggered for no reason. Sometimes it's like, y'all are really out here trying to be all against us and not give us any credit whatsoever. So the one great thing about this 3-1 lead is nobody going to say nothing now about
yeah.
Well, I guarantee you Windhorst tomorrow's got something to say.
Well, Tatum, he was sitting there. He wasn't feeling very well, and then he has emotional breakdown before. He's going to give him some cushion as to why the Knicks won that game, but not at their own hands. That's the narrative he usually introduces.
He was very he after the game tonight, I will say he was very complimentary of the Knicks.
All right, I'm gonna shut up.
He said they played a brilliant game. He was because
shut up.
but he did like he ends it with, but you have that pit in your stomach because of what happened to Tatum, and you do. Like I said, you feel a certain way. You know, I would much rather the Knicks have won and everyone, like I said, everyone be healthy leaving the game, and you know, it sucks. It does. Because that's gonna be the story in game 5. That's gonna be the story.
Not that the Knicks won, but that he's hurt.
Right. If they win game 5, it's gonna be but they didn't have Jason Tatum. That's what it's gonna be.
And I'll take it.
I'll take it.
Me too.
I'm gonna be like, that's damn right, and we won.
The media. I'll take it. I'll take it the next round too.
After what happened to us last year,
I'll take that too. I'll take it all.
No, they're pretty healthy. Indiana's pretty healthy right now.
No, I said about his father.
So if the Knicks go to the conference final, I think he puts any water on the fire of the coach getting fired.
Oh, he's safe now. I said he won the 2 games. I think he's safe after the first 2 games, and definitely Thibodeau's not going anywhere. And to be honest with you, how can you argue him to go anywhere?
I know
you can't
now. We had 3 seasons in the second round. Well, if you count the Randall one season in the first round exit, that was a failure. But the other one since Brunson's been here is second round, some with asterisks next to him if you want to add it because they had injuries, but they still managed to take him to game 7s. Now, if he gets past the second round, he's money. I mean, what can you say? This is what you want. You want him to have a chance to get into the finals, and he's giving you an opportunity as a coach. Whether we agree he's the one, it looks good on his resume if he gets to the Eastern Conference Finals right now. So, shout out to him.
Agreed.
The best player in the Knicks endorses him, so we can think what we want. Brunson loves him. Brunson's best friend loves him. Leon loves him, so it is what it is.
Yeah, it's right. Yeah, there's nothing to say now. Like any chance of that happening is gone. Yeah. He'll be back next year. We'll see what happens. Obviously, the rest of this season, but he's definitely gonna be back next year. And we'll see what happens from there. I mean, if the Knicks do go on a run now from here and win a title, then of course he's gonna be back.
I don't even want to think about that right now.
I don't either, but it's time to start. You can start dreaming for real. Like,
let's think about it. Why not?
Yeah, why not us? Like, that's what
we can't think about losing. We got to think about we are the closest we've been to a finals in a long time.
I said about halfway through the Detroit series that weird stuff happens in the playoffs. Occasionally, there's this team that you thought had no business getting to the conference finals wind up going to the conference finals.
We are this year's Miami. When you think about
it, or a couple of years ago, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Knicks got a golden opportunity. We should be thinking about finals right now because I'm going to look ahead. Why not?
I think we're beating Indiana if we play Indiana.
I think we mollywop them.
Mollywop
them. Look, there's reason to. They beat us last year. They won a title, so
don't take them lightly. They are currently up 3-1 on the team that was the best team in the East this year.
I didn't buy
it. Don't take them lightly at all.
I didn't buy it.
They're going to be in the conference finals for a reason, but I like our chances.
I think we would have beat Cleveland. I didn't think we could maybe beat Boston, but I thought we could beat Cleveland. It's something about Cleveland I just don't buy. I told you, Garland.
Well,
core of that team still has PTSD of what we did to them a couple of years ago.
I think we have
so aloof. They're such an aloof bunch.
Yeah, that's why
I don't know how you could not like I said in the chat. How are you going to miss the first 2 games and then come back in game 3? And he was great in game 3. Like that. What was the difference between that day and then 2 days earlier? Like what? I don't know.
Jalen Brunson could have his leg cut off and he's going to come still out and play.
These guys are some of these players nowadays are more about the I don't want to say the celebrity, but I guess the prestige of being a professional athlete and not about what exactly their job is. And I'm not saying they don't want to win. I'm just saying that they don't put everything on the line. A lot of these guys, if they're hurt, even if it's a little thing, they're not playing. And
so you're saying it's all about booty, meat, and bling? Is that what you're trying to tell?
That's part of it, yes. And honestly, their next contract.
Booty, meat, and bling. That's all it's about, because it can't be about winning.
Their next contract. It's about their next deal. That's what they're looking at. Mm-hmm. And like I said, that's why it's rare to get someone like Brunson who took less money in his contract,
significantly less,
chose to play here. Like So, well, we will be back maybe on Wednesday. If we don't do our show at a normal time, because what time is the game?
Game 7.
7 o'clock.
Yeah. So, if we do a show at 6, cool. If not, we can definitely do one after. Yeah. There might be a lot of joy to be had on Wednesday. So it might be a good time to put that one, do the show after the game. Craig, of course, you are more than welcome to join us again. So let us know if you want to hop on. You'll hop on with us. But for tonight, the Knicks are up 3-1. Going to Boston to close this one out. None of us thought we would be sitting here. So enjoy it. Enjoy this, Knicks fans. I can tell you, I mean, we've all been here before for finals runs, and I'm not saying we're going to get there, but it's a fun ride to go on. So enjoy this. No matter what happens, enjoy this.
Nuts in New York. If y'all don't think it's about to be nuts.
It's called the National Guard, man.
It's about to be nuts.
Yeah, I'll close on this one thing that CP the franchise, whatever his name is, who does Knicks Fan School, I think, or whatever the show he does on Knicks TV. He was like the other day, he was like, "Oh, Knicks fans, you got to be ready, be prepared," and all this other stuff when we were coming to game 3. I'm like, dude, you must be young, because trust me, you don't need to say that.
Yeah, no, you don't need to say that. They just ready.
Yes, this fan base is ready. So
I don't know if the rest of the world is ready, but Knicks fans is ready.
Yes, we are ready. So on that note, for Ty, Joe, and Craig, I'm Eric. You're watching All Nicked Up, and we will see you Wednesday. Go Knicks!
Go Knicks. Good night, guys.
Thanks.